Microsoft Copilot is Microsoft's new AI tool, and they're claiming it's a productivity game changer. And some say Microsoft Fabric will allow us to become citizen data scientists, the fuel ultimately that powers AI. Is this the moment generative AI revolutionizes the way we work? We asked the experts today on the Digital Lounge. Hello, it's Thursday, the 20th of July. It's 10 a.m. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, across the internet. My name's Mark Britton, and this week we've been following closely announcements at Microsoft Inspire. It's the tech giant's annual partner conference. It's an important event that sets the scene for what's to come over their new financial year. Joining me now is Matthew Lancashire. Apologies. He's been keeping an eye on news coming from Redmond. Matthew, thank you for joining me today. Microsoft Fabric, it came to our attention back in May, and I know customers have been asking an awful lot about it. But I suppose for those that haven't been keeping up to date on that, could you just give us a little bit of background on what Microsoft Fabric is, what we know so far?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, of course I can. I think most importantly, you have to take a step back to figure out what Microsoft Fabric is, a little bit back into history. So a couple of years ago, Microsoft released a new product or a new set of products called Synapse or Synapse. And this was Microsoft really bringing together a lot of their technologies just under one hood that were disparate and spread out. And they were merging the technologies, they were merging the teams that support those technologies. So we're talking about things like SQL data warehousing, Power BI, and Data Factory for transformation. Now, they did that and they did a very good job of it. What they didn't do was meet the expectations of the customer. So what they've done with Synapse is they've actually moved on to the next level with this. So as well as taking all of that set of technologies and making it easier to use and producing a real simplified customer experience, they've brought in some new elements as well. They've moved a few things around. They've made a couple of really good innovations that people have been crying out for, and they've really answered the customers' questions about why haven't you done this? Why is this still difficult to do? And they've rolled it all into Fabric. Couple that with some closer, tighter integration to AI and the Copilot ecosystem.
Okay, so I think there has been a little bit of murmurings in the market saying, "Oh, is this just a rebrand of Synapse?" But you think there are some additional benefits to be had with what Microsoft is packaging up here?
Yeah, definitely. I think part of making those changes that the customer was after was really creating a much, if you'll forgive the pun, a tighter knit between the products. So what they've got is they've completely re-engineered the experience of using these products. So instead of it seeming like a number of products just sort of in close proximity together that work okay together, they've actually re-engineered how they all work. They've made some real game changes as far as simplifying some of the elements around the edge that really you can't use Synapse as it is today without having Azure administrators or Azure storage engineers and people like that be able to configure things for you, and being able to use Power BI on the back end of that and use the machine learning and data science pieces is quite difficult. And the experience within the workspace is good, but it doesn't really welcome you in as a data scientist and things like that. You'll probably understand a lot of the stuff that's in there, but if you're a new starter or you want to be able to, I would say that they love this, to be able to democratize a little bit more those analytics journeys. You need a better place to work. You don't want to be having to engage with people to create storage accounts. So what they've really done is they've simplified the entire setup. So now you don't have to go away and talk to Azure engineers. You can do everything within Fabric, all the things that you couldn't do before. It's they've called it a true SaaS product with everything self-contained within it. So with SaaS, it's configuration rather than having to know the underlying technologies to set things up. So they've redesigned the workspace. They've brought in a much more mature set of security compliance tools in there, which, let's be honest, in Synapse, it's not really the strong suit. You have to go elsewhere in Azure to do stuff like that. It's simplified the way that you use things like SQL Data Warehouse, because at the moment there's two different flavors of that. They work in completely different ways. So does the billing. So does the way you provision them. Now it's all automatic and built in. And like I say, the underlying part of that is it creates a one-stop shop for your analytics now, as opposed to it's the core things merged together with a few bolt-ons on the outside. So now you get, the analytics, the data science piece, which is, the AI and ML machine learning tools that you get, coupled with all of these new developments around Copilot and AI. You've got a single set of recognizable data warehousing SQL sort of tools. You've got access to integration with, you've got data pipelines coming over now from Spark Pipe into Synapse pipelines, and you've also got something which is, I would say, is another level of improvement, which is something called One Lake. Now, this basically obscures all of the storage conundrums and technical elements of where the data is stored, and you get presented a single unified area. And a lot of people go, oh, well, what about stuff I've got over here, and what about stuff over there? What they've actually done is they've set it up so, in much in the same way on Windows, you can create a shortcut to a file, and it could be anywhere on your machine, but you get to see it and access it from your desktop. One Lake does that for you. So whether that's your existing Synapse and data lake storage or other external systems, you can present it to all of your data science stuff and all of your reporting through one layer. Also, another big improvement, which is using Synapse and Power BI, it worked together, but it was not an integrated suite. It was very much Power BI was made to work together. Now they've had the teams working together for a while. What they've got is they've got something, I think the term is direct lake for Power BI. So instead of having to take the data in your data lake and shovel it up into Power BI service regularly and refresh that data, because it didn't work very well, direct accessing, now they've improved that. Now it is first-class citizen as far as being able to directly access that data lake data from your Power BI, which then exposes all that Copilot niceness. The other element as well is, as I've said, it's a single SQL model and engine, so you don't have to pick and choose. And also, you've got all of that nice goodness throughout the product of being able to use Copilot.
Fantastic. So it's more than, it certainly sounds like more than just some glitter, a lick of paint. There's underlying, there's more significant things going on there. So if I'm an existing Synapse user, what do we do now? What should I be preparing for, and what are the timescales? Because this is coming down the track.
Yeah, we've had a number. I mean, we have customers who have adopted Synapse. When they did the data export deprecation for Dynamics, we have a lot of Dynamics customers. There was really only one sensible choice, and that was Synapse. And everyone's going, well, they forced me down this route. What am I going to do? Well, I was lucky enough to be, a couple of days ago, to be on a Q&A with the head of, as part of Inspire, with Aaron, the head of data at Microsoft. And those questions were raised there as well. As partners, we get, direct contact sometimes to be able to ask these questions, and we don't shy away from asking them. As I said, the Fabric is, a lot of the elements that are in Synapse actually are the next versions are in Fabric, and they are the same product underneath. It's just that you get to see in different areas depending on when you adopted. Synapse is not going anywhere for the foreseeable future. One, a lot of the tools that are in there, the components that make up Fabric and work well together within Fabric, they're the same. They're going to be the same products, so they will be maintained moving forwards. What you'll be missing out on is that connected experience, the setup of storage and things. So, over time, you will be given plenty of time to be able to migrate over if you choose. There is no thought about deprecation. The preview at the moment is coming to an end. So there's been a free preview of Fabric, so you can have a play around with it, and they're going to start charging, even though it's only in public preview, the product itself. So they're going to start charging in August. What you can do is you can carry on as you are. If you want to be able to implement certain aspects, so there are, but bear in mind, Fabric isn't fully featured yet. There are a number of things coming online. There is already a roadmap of improvements, one of which is connectivity to Dataverse and Dynamics. That is due to go in public preview any time now. So at the moment, you use Synapse to be able to get your data, and potentially for Dynamics, you put it into Synapse and you use that to do analytics and reporting. There will be a version of that very soon, a newer, improved experience as well. So they've learned from that inside Fabric. But if you want to move now, what you can do is you can continue using Synapse, and then you can actually use the shortcuts I was talking about to access the data. So you can just make it as if as far as Fabric's concerned, it can see that Dynamics data. But what I would say is anything net new, any new development, whether that's you're brand new to Fabric or you're brand new to Microsoft analytics stack, or you want to do your next new project, you're a Synapse customer, you thought it was brilliant, I want to move on to, and the next one is a net new project, try looking and making sure you can, one, this is fully featured enough for you to do what you need to do. Two, when it's coming out of public preview, and then look at actually building your next workload on Fabric. But again, like I say, these things will work in parallel together. They will work in tandem. It's just that you will miss out on some of the newer elements, but the existing elements will still be there, so you can carry on as you are. As far as GA for this, all I could get out of Aaron was it's soon. So they're ironing out a few kinks. They're putting in a few features that are missing at the moment. They're real fundamentals before they go to general availability. But I would suspect it's going to be either towards the end of this year at the latest. I would expect it to go GA. But watch this space. There is so much stuff on the Microsoft ecosystem at the moment. All the blogs are up, all the Microsoft Learn areas are up, all of the sales collateral's up. They produce pricing, obviously. Usually that's a real good indicator of when they're going to GA. They start producing pricing and SKUs and starting charging for the preview. You know that they're going to move into GA sometime soon.
Brilliant. Matthew, thank you so much for your time today. We'll keep you on the line in case there are any comments from people listening live. So for now, thank you very much. So let's move on now to Copilot. AI is everywhere at the moment. So I think it's fair to say we know about Microsoft's investment in OpenAI. That's well documented. So it's no surprise that AI is coming in a big way to Microsoft in the guise of what they're calling Copilot. Crimson's Martin Gallagher now joins me. Thank you for your time, Martin. I know you've been at Microsoft Inspire over the last few days, looking out for any further announcements from Microsoft Inspire. Could you just give us a little bit of background on Copilot? How's that going to enhance the overall experience of users that are maybe existing Dynamics 365 customers?
Anyway, good morning, Mark. Copilot. So, a big conversation point at the moment with everything that's going on with Inspire. Copilot will enhance the user experience in several ways across many of the Dynamics applications. So whether you're using sales, customer service, whether it's marketing, project operations, all of those different apps. What I thought I would do is just maybe focus on one example, which we see a lot of in our business. Copilot is an AI-powered tool that actually revolutionizes the agent experience. So if we're looking at customer service particularly, then obviously agents are key to that role. So, and what it will do is it will provide real-time assistance that helps the agents resolve issues faster, so they can handle cases more efficiently and they can automate time-consuming tasks so that they can then focus on delivering a higher quality service to their customers. So let's take out the mundane tasks. Let's improve the way that they can resolve these cases, and then that gives them time to focus on a better customer service.
Okay, so you've got some specific examples then of how they can perform those common tasks and workflows, do you?
So let's have a look at some particular examples. Now, this list is extensive. I mean, it's absolutely massive across the Dynamics 365 platform. So what I've tried to do here is I've tried to pick out a few examples that may sort of resonate with, our different roles that may be on our audience today. So, for example, we've got financial data. So we've got Copilot managing and analyzing financial data, automating invoice processing, and providing insights for making informed financial decisions. And that's one of the big things we're seeing with Copilot at the moment is we keep going back to this insights piece and how it can help us, get insight into, our customer base and the direction our customers are going in. But also inventory. So if you're very much focused on things like forecasting inventory demands, and streamlining inventory movements. One area that's really, really key for me, because I focus on marketing, on dynamics marketing. So what we're seeing there is the ability to use AI to save time in creating and enhancing segments. So marketers can now describe the target audience, and then what Copilot will do is it will actually build out that segment for us.
Incredible.
Power Automate. So if we look at Power Automate, for example, then we've got a massive experience there in terms of improving and enhancing our workflows and applications. What I did want to do though is pick out a couple of examples that are really hot off the press from Inspire. So I'm sure some of you might have seen the whole announcement around AI chat for work. So what Microsoft are doing here is they're allowing us to be able to use Copilot in a chat situation, but actually in a more protected situation, ensuring that your business data doesn't leak outside your organization. They've also announced visual search. This is going to be brilliant for some of our customers. So this is where we can upload images. So, I work a lot with people in housing and home building. So they'd be able to upload things like site plans, property images, and so on. And AI will go out and find relevant content. It's just been announced, the Sales Copilot. So that's going to allow us to engage with our customers in, say, Teams, for example, while driving conversations based on data that's held in the organization's CRM application. So whether that is Dynamics, or they've also announced that that's going to include Salesforce as well. So there's some really great things coming out of Inspire at the moment.
Fantastic. And I think it's safe to say this is going to have a fundamental impact on people's productivity. Is that the sense that you're getting from what you're seeing here? This really is a game changer, and this isn't just hype.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the value here is massive to organizations. So and it will touch on every part of the business, from things like project operations. We're seeing things like Dynamics 365 Sales and the new Viva Sales. I don't know if any of our audience have come across Viva Sales, but it's the new add-in for Outlook, but it's definitely a massive improvement, and it will reduce time that they spend on things like clerical tasks, but also it will use AI to help them write email responses to customers, and can create email summaries as well. And that can include team conversations as well. So if you're having a conversation with a customer in Teams, what you can then do is get Viva Sales to actually produce a summary of that in an Outlook email, which then you can obviously send to the customer as a summary of the conversation. So massive across every aspect of the business.
Right. So this is going to be embedded across a lot of the Microsoft estate, by the sounds of it, and a lot of integration there on the horizon. So we're getting people excited about this, I'm sure. But when's this going to be out in the UK? When are people going to be able to get their hands on this?
Okay, so so what Microsoft are doing here with Copilot is they're actually staggering the release. So some of the announcements that are currently on their roadmap. So if we look at specifically Copilot, we're currently in wave 1. So currently most of the features have gone into public preview over June and July 23. But we have some having a general availability date of between August 2023 and the end of this wave release. So that will be around September time. However, I did notice yesterday when I took a look at the roadmap, there is still some that remain as a to be confirmed. So there's a few things that are in public preview, but they haven't actually set a GA date for that. If we
Right.
jump on to wave 2, because obviously there's new features coming in wave 2, and they're already mapping out those, by the way. So the features will enter public preview from July 23 through to January 2024, with some having a general availability from October 2023. So, however, again, there are a number in there that are still to be confirmed.
Right, so we'll have to dig into the detail on that a little bit later in the year, hopefully. And we're
Yeah.
now starting to get some indication of how much this is going to cost, I believe, Martin.
We are, yeah. So Microsoft announced yesterday that it's probably going to be in the region of $30 per month per user for many of the Copilot features, particularly around things like the chat capability. However, obviously, a lot of customers will have agreements with Microsoft, so we may find that that pricing will be adapted if you've got various agreements with Microsoft. And also, it's worth mentioning that some of this capability, so if I specifically look at marketing, for example, the ability to use AI's natural language to build out my segments is in the product. So if I've got licensed Dynamics 365 marketing, then that is part of the Dynamics app, the marketing app.
So I think there are going to be some discussions over the next few months about the value of a user's role versus the cost of that license. But yeah, so some interesting discussions in the boardroom, I'd imagine, on that. Martin, I appreciate your time today. Thank you for taking the time to join us, taking the time to catch up with what's going on at Microsoft Inspire. I'm sure you'll be on the show again at some point, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, so I'm just going to wrap up now. We are the next show. We're aiming to run this show every couple of weeks, but actually, we're going to take a break next time. A lot of people on holiday, as you can imagine, in August. We are coming back on Thursday, the 17th of August, though, and we have got Tom Cadman, our CIO, on the show. We're going to continue the theme of AI. It's just such a hot topic at the moment. Why not? But we are going to dig into the specific use cases in higher education. So if you're in the university sector, that's definitely a show not to miss out on. But actually, if you're not in the university sector, I think it's going to be a very interesting show to look at actually how can these tools be used in a very practical way that is going to demonstrate fantastic return on investment. So definitely look out for that. A couple of other things. We are currently the survey is open for the Digital Leadership Report. Now, if you haven't come across this before, it is the world's largest survey of digital leaders, and we ask their investment priorities. There's again particular theme around AI this year with that survey. It's been running for 25 years now. So if you are interested in getting involved in that survey, it does mean that you'll get early access to the results and you'll be able to benchmark yourself. I've got a bit.ly link, bit.ly /DLR 2023. That's /DLR 2023. That survey is going to be open for a few more weeks, and the results we'll see later in the year around November. we also always have available discovery calls. So if anything that's we've talked about today has caught your attention, do get in touch. Go to crimson.co.uk. We can talk to you about proof of concept funding that's available from Microsoft, and we have a number of workshops that can get your leadership team really excited about the possibilities of Microsoft. We are also now available on Apple, Spotify, and all good places for podcasts. So if you'd prefer to catch up with this show while you're in the car, at the gym, that's also available too. So with that, thank you for joining us today, and look forward to seeing you very soon. Goodbye.